So another day and even more craziness in the CS2 markets. There is some good news finally, at least, that it does seem like we had our first kind of positive, our first green, our first bounce back day since Valve decided to add this new kind of trade reversal period that did tank the markets over the past week or so. But also there were some issues when, they started rolling out this update. Today was actually the very, very first day that trade reversal periods were finishing up and that, funds were going to start getting unlocked and that people were actually going to be able to start using some of the money from the items they sold the first day that this update happened to actually start buying more items, which should have been a good thing for the markets. But again, because Valve had some issues right at the beginning, it kind of caused some panic, kind of caused some annoyance, some usual Valve time issues and some usual kind of Valve things when putting out a new update or not being ready or whatever. So plenty of craziness to talk about in this video today. Today's video is sponsored by Skins Monkey, an automated CS2 trading platform where you can turn your skins into new ones simple and easy. All you have to do is click on the skins that you want to get rid of, click on the skins that you want, and then click trade items. Now, if you don't have enough balance for the items you want, you can use code GERM to get up to $5 free bonus on your first trade. You can also use that same code GERM to get a 5% extra deposit bonus on top of the 30% deposit bonus that Skins Monkey is already offering. So there's really no reason to not go check out Skins Monkey with that first link in the description below today. So you guys can see here that Price Empire tweeted out the Counter-Strike 2 market gained 73.2 million today, the first positive day since a trade protected item update. Now 73.2 million, depending on how much you know or how much you're familiar with, whatever, might sound like a big number, might sound like a lot. It's not really that much. I don't know how much we in total ended up losing in the overall market cap, but I think it was something like 600 million or something like that, 650 million, some kind of crazy number in that kind of area. I don't know if that, 9 digits or something. But you can see here they did tweet out things were starting to turn around. Some of these items, these are some of the top market cap items overall, being up 9%, 8%, 3%, 10%, some kind of bounce back gains there. So that is a good sign to see. But like I said, to me, this wasn't totally this is something I was expecting. I thought that this day would be a green day. I thought this would be the first possible day that we could see a green day because, like I said, this was the first day that trade reversal periods were going to be finishing, that funds were going to be being unlocked. If you sold on a third-party marketplace like CS Float or something like that, I think your funds either unlocked today or tomorrow. If you sold that very first day the update came out, and if you were dealing with a cash trader, your funds should have been unlocking today as well. So again, people sold their items, but they didn't have that money to put back into the markets until today. So prices dropped because there was less buyers, less people with money to actually buy items. Now that money's coming back in, now people are going to be able to buy, so those prices should have found like a local low, should start to rebound, and that's exactly what we saw happen. I don't think that's too crazy. I think that's actually a pretty simple concept to see why this has happened. I think overall, if you look at the market cap graph, I was trying to say market cap graph all at the same time, market cap graph on Price Empire, it's pretty funny because you can see we saw this massive fall off after the trade revert update, and now you see we have this little tiny bounce back. Now again, this little tiny bounce back, it's not insane at the end of the day, but it is a 2% up day after we've had a minus 10% week, minus 70 or minus 7% month, and again we're down 10% from those all-time highs that we did see a week ago. So still right now we're back about where we were in May. So we're back to about where prices were 2 months ago. So, in the grand scheme of things throughout this whole year, it's really not that bad. Again, overall market cap is 4.6 billion right now. We started the year at 3.7 billion. So in 2025, we're still up massively. Things are still looking insanely good. Things are still looking great, whatever. But in the short term, yes, we are down 10% in a week, which is a significant crash. I've seen so many people being like, this isn't even a market crash, little bro. A market crash. Like, I don't know what you guys expect. What do you think a market crash is going to be? You think we're going to go down 40% in a week? You think we're going to go down 25% in like 3 days or something? Like 10, 12, 15%? What we've seen in a couple of days, that's a market crash. If you would see like crypto go down 15% a day, or God forbid, even like the US stock market go down 10% in a week, people would be panicking. It would be global headline news every single day. Losing 10% in a week, and again, even more, because we're up 2% today, that means we lost even more than 10% this week. That's a crash. That's a very, very big and significant crash. Now, again, like I said, if we zoom out, it doesn't really look that big. And if we zoom ahead to a year, 2, 3 years in the future, I'm sure it's just going to be a blip on the graph. But for right now, this was a very, very big buying opportunity, and we're still down 10% from all-time high. So just because things maybe are starting to find a bottom, which we don't even know, because again, that's what some other people believe as well. We see here, swap.gg, they tweeted out dead cat bounce, which is, it's a fake upward movement in a market. Things crash, then they go up a little bit, then they crash again. That's what some people are expecting as well. A dead cat bounce is a short-lived and often sharp rally that occurs within a secular downtrend. Now, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be a dead cat bounce. I think, honestly, the market is going to start to stabilize and we're going to slowly begin another uptrend upward. I think a lot of people's panic, a lot of people's, uncertainty with this new update, a lot of people's issues with the new update and stuff like that, I think a lot of their fears are starting to subside when they see that, hey, things are a little bit less convenient now. Things are a little bit more annoying. Things are a little bit harder, but if we could get through, just them going from no trade hold to the 7-day trade hold, which is one of the most insane updates of all time, we can go from, a no trade reversal period to a trade reversal period. This trade reversal thing does add a lot of new annoying, stupid ways for people to try to scam people and for people to try to, go back on deals and trades and all this different stuff and, whatever. There's going to be growing pains with this, but still, there are still ways to invest. There are still ways to trade. There are still ways to use third-party marketplaces. There are still ways, to buy cases, to open cases, all that stuff. It's way more annoying. It's way more convoluted. There's way more steps involved now. You have to be more careful. Things take more time. It's way slower. That is not great for the markets. The markets would have been better off the other way, but that doesn't mean that the market still won't be able to grow. That doesn't mean trading's not going to happen. That doesn't mean skin investing isn't going to happen. That doesn't mean CS isn't going to continue to grow. That doesn't mean all these other things. The fundamentals are still there. Things are still going to be okay. So I do think in the long run, this is not going to matter. I still, have been trying to buy the dip very aggressively. I'm still trying to buy the items I believe in the most, and I still think that's going to be the best long-term strategy. But today, again, trade holds started, ending today. Items were going to be no longer trade protected today. The items that got traded that very first night the update came out, they should have been getting unlocked today. But when this morning came and Valve was supposed to be unlocking all these items and stuff, there was actually some big issues. This whole kind of CS2 servers and trading and everything went down. People were worried. People were scared. People were panicking because they were like, what the heck? My stuff's supposed to be being untrade protected today. I'm supposed to be paying people out, or funds are supposed to start getting released from websites, and people are supposed to start having their items, because before you could, like, if you bought a case or something, you'd only be able to preview it. You wouldn't be able to use it. You bought a sticker, you wouldn't be able to apply it. You'd only be able to look at it. But finally, you're supposed to be able to start using your stuff and also being able to start putting your stuff into storage units so you could actually start buying more stuff. But that was not the case. People still couldn't, unlock their items, and people didn't really know what the heck was going on. So this is what it looked like today. There was an error sending your trade offer. We were unable to contact the game's item server. But again, it wasn't just trading. It wasn't just item servers are down. It was like everything that was down. CS2 tweeted this out. He said, it's been a bad week and the incompetence is really starting to piss me off. You can see here, Counter-Strike API is having internal server errors. CS sessions logon is unknown. CS player inventory is unknown. CS matchmaking schedule is unknown. Like, everything was down for CS. And I think it was relating to having issues with these trade protected items and Valve trying to fix it and Valve trying to figure it out. And everyone was like, okay, you guys, you've had a week since this update came out to get this stuff ready to actually, have a smooth launch. You knew when this day was coming. You knew this time was coming. You should have a system that's going to work. But at the same time, always with new updates, with new systems, whatever, there's going to be issues right at the beginning. There's going to be bug fixing, patching, whatever. So it was just going to be up to Valve to have a, timely response to this. Alchemist tweet out, trade protection is not expiring like it's supposed to. Always good to know that Valve pushes thoroughly tested updates that are also well thought out. And again, he was tweeting this, after this item should have been, released and untrade protected and whatever. And it wasn't. His item was still trade protected. At least it was saying it was trade protected or whatever. It was weird. Finally, Tech Savvy, later on in the morning, he tweeted out CS2 servers are back. Items no longer show the yellow trade protection text in game, but he still can't open this gallery case that he bought and should have been able to open by now, nor can I add it to a trade. It is still marked as trade protected in his Steam inventory. The trade does not appear to be reversible anymore, which is at least good still, because again, God forbid, your trade reversal period ends, you pay somebody out, and then they still are able to reverse the trade on you after they're not supposed to be able to reverse it anymore, which again is just Valve potentially even opening up more loopholes and more doors for scamming when this update is supposed to be preventing scamming and preventing confusion and stuff like that. But I can't say for sure until I'm able to open the case. It appears Valve is actively working on fixing these issues, but this once again goes to show that this update was not really thought out through or implemented correctly, which again is frustrating for people. But finally, they got everything figured out. It does seem like now everything is good to go. This is much later in the day. Olaf tweeted out, guys, we are free. It's working. It only took them a week. And now, trading was back. It seemed like the trade protected items were all sorted out. Everything was good to go. Also, you can now showcase your trade protected items. That wasn't the case before today's update. Good change. Not only could you not showcase trade protected items, but trade protected items weren't even popping up in a lot of people's inventories on Steam. If you actually logged on and opened up the CS game, you could see your trade protected stuff. But actually, just like on Steam, it was hard for people to even see a lot of their own items in their own inventories, which is very, very annoying. Again, more people, when this stuff first happened, trade protect items seem to be buggy. This case should be out of trade protection by now. Still shows as such an inventory. Info is gone in game, but I can still only preview it. Not tradable, not marketable, not openable. But again, like I said, it did eventually get fixed. It is tradable. These items are now tradable as well. There was some people who were worried that there was going to be a 7-day trade protection and then the 7-day unmarketable period was going to start after that. I don't know why people thought that. I think if you thought that, you're probably a little bit stupid or a little bit pessimistic or a little bit, you were just panicking and thinking like the worst possibilities ever. But we can now confirm, at least I don't have anything that has finished trade protection yet, so I can't 100% confirm this myself. But it seems like from what people are saying on Twitter that items do go through this trade protection period and the unmarketable, untradeable period at the same time. So it's 7 days. It's not stacked on top of each other. It's not 14 days. If you buy something, it'll still be tradable, marketable, whatever, after 7 days, which also overlaps with the trade protection period. They happen at the same time, not at different times like some people were worried about. So that at least does clear up some confusion in the market. Zuckwiz, the co-founder of GamerPay, he said, while Valve is completely fucking around with their item servers, we're cooking on what I said and believe is the most important thing to be able to offer to trusted customers and traders. Can you tell what it is by these two screenshots? And again, he's kind of showing that, hey, their stuff, finished up today and they were actually paying people out. The trades were getting done. The trades were taking place. They were getting people their funds and money, which again, Valve was having issues at the beginning, actually working out what was trade protected, what wasn't, and actually, getting items moving, getting the markets back up again. But we did see potentially some new CS2 updates coming soon, which I know a lot of people are excited for. Obviously, people were hoping for some big new update, and all we did was get kind of screwed over and fucked over by Valve instead. So now we're still kind of waiting for that next big update, whether it's going to be, cash or cobblestone or some new armory items or a new case or whatever. People are waiting for new content to come. They still want some big, new, exciting stuff because, hey, this trade reversal, trade protection update, whatever, really wasn't it. And Valve, we did get a new branch that was created with the current game version. Nothing new is added at the moment, but this is usually done as a preparation for the next update. X Mercy says they cooked us with the trade protection, but I hope they have the good stuff still in the oven. So we'll have to wait and see. Another new update could be coming soon. It looks like a ton of, marketplaces and third-party places, whatever, are still trying to figure out what exactly to do with all these trade protection and trade reversal possibilities. Brongo said he thinks the steps to alleviate the trade reversal update would be all major Chinese marketplaces no longer freezing funds for Chinese users, instead utilizing social credit as punishment, which would be huge for the CS2 markets because, again, that would allow money to start moving faster, for the market to start having that velocity of the money and the money kind of cycling through, not having to wait those 7-day periods. And also, he does believe that most marketplaces should implement multiple Steam account usage to allow more than 1,000 items being bought per week. I think that is very, very essential. I know, obviously, most places have limited to just one account, but now that you can only buy 1,000 items per week at max, most people won't even be able to buy 1,000 items per week because you'd have to have your inventory literally at zero, which who has a zero-item inventory in 2025? But if you can start allowing alt accounts to be used on all these third-party marketplaces and all linked to the same account and all that, then you're going to allow people to be able to buy more than 1,000 items, which is going to be good for your marketplace. It's going to be good for the whole CS2 economy. So I think that would be a very, very cool thing to see and something I would love. I've definitely been making a couple alt accounts, trying to get them ready so I can, continue trading at the scales that I want to. I thought this was pretty interesting as well, and this is something that I've kind of echoed in some of my other videos. People saying this was July 22nd. People saying now is the worst time to sell your items. Even if one of your items already almost recovered in its price, now is still the worst time to sell. In a few days, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cash will be unlocked on every marketplace that adapted to the update. That means a full week of buying power will be unleashed in just one day. Prices will see variations no one has ever seen. Every item that dropped will be bought back by the first people that sold and so on. However, when items that bought low on the second and third day after the update will start to get listed by the early dip buyers, we are more than likely to see a second dip in the market. So again, right now we're starting to go back up a little bit, but that doesn't mean we can't see another leg lower. That doesn't mean we can't see more up over the next couple of days, then a crash back down even lower. That doesn't mean the crash is over. It means we have no idea what's going to happen from here. Everyone has different theories. Everyone has different ideas. But like I said, I did think, selling over the past couple of days was going to be a bad idea because I did think today on July 23rd, we would start to see a little bit of a market rebound. And that's exactly what we saw. Thought this was funny as well, and just kind of how I wanted to wrap up this video. Raffle Monster said Valve managed to cause more financial losses than all the scammers combined, which is a pretty fitting and funny end to all the kind of chaos and insanity that's been going on in CS2 markets lately. But like I said, some good news is that we are finally starting to see the markets go up. It is possible to still see a green day. We're not free falling. The sky's not crashing down. We're not going to zero. But there does seem to be plenty of turbulence ahead for the CS2 market still. We'll have to see what happens from here. Again, I'm buying the dip. I'm still long-term bullish. I think everything's going to be okay. but we'll have to wait and see. Pretty much over this video today, guys. Hopefully catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.